Hello, this is a video I'm going to make just to showcase an editor I've been making. And so this is the editor as you're seeing. It's used to make games in Codea. That's going to be the plan. I haven't finished it. This is just work in progress. And as you can see, there's a boy in the center and this blue square thing, which is actually the camera. So I'm going to show you some interesting stuff that the Word editor can do. So let me just start. So one of the things I can do is actually drag this image here and yeah, put an image right there. And you see these are gizmos. So I can move around this around and you see the gizmos is moving. I can go up this way, scale this way, and maybe scale the whole thing over here. And I can delete this in the trash by clicking this icon over here. And as you can see, there is also I can click on folders. I coded all the UI myself, so every UI you're seeing around here, every button, every search button, every search bar was I coded it for myself. I had to find calculations to do how to do a search field, and I can also search for files. I can say everlasting tears, and I can drag this one over here, and you see, boom, there's the painting. This is the painting I decided to create. I can click over here to delete the grid, and that's pretty cool. And as you can see on the right, there's the inspector. The inspector has the name of it. I could probably rename it to tears. I don't know. And as you can see on the right and left, it turned into tears, which is very nice. And as you can see on the right also, the position is updating. Each time I move the gizmos, the position is updating. So this is live, so it can actually know, it monitors the variables and changes it. Same as the scale, as you see, and the rotation. You'll see that, yeah, it's changing over there. And if you see here, there's an image icon over here. Let me change the rotation back to 0. I'm going to click change rotation to 0. And if I go back and I drag this, let me drag something useful. Maybe I check the check mark. And I'll drag this check mark and I put over here. Boom. Now you see that it swapped it with a check mark. And maybe I can change it with this one. Boom. And if you, now that I've done that, I'm actually going to showcase something interesting. If you see here, the girl kind of looks a little blurry. So what I can do is check off smooth, and boom, it's pixelated. It's pixel art. I can also change the color by clicking this, and the color picker will come up. And I can change the girl's color, which is very nice. And change hair, change the hue, which is very cool. And I'm going to change it back to white. And what I can do also is flip like this. It's flipping, and turn off the smooth here and flip over there, which is very nice. So those aren't the only things you can do. I'm gonna cross out this. If I go and click on this girl, I can go and view the image, and you'll see that the girl has some stats, like the name, which is the girl, the width, and the height. So it has useful stats. I can click on smooth off so I can see it in a smoothed off area, and I go back to viewing image. Now you see it's pixelated compared to the blurriness it was before. And I can go here and click on convert to atlas. An atlas can be used to help create an animation. So I can click here, and I'm gonna change the cell count. So the cell count is how many cells from the X direction, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I'll put 8 over here. And for the Y direction, 4. And as you can see, there are 8 over there and 4, and it made a line to divide it. I can click here to see the pixel size. So suppose I knew the pixel size I want, I could just type that instead of the cell count. So it has a cell count and a pixel size. And now because I've set a correct and 1, I can click on set atlas. And as you see, it changed, the icon changed. One thing you might also I want to show you is that if I click on the icon names, I can actually see a hovering, because if you see that this one was actually truncated, so you can't really see the whole thing. So but if I click on that, I can actually see the full name, which is very cool. Now to use the girl animation, I want to go to this sprite, and I'm going to delete the sprite because I don't want the sprite. And I can go, and you can see that it also has some other stuff, which I'll show you later. I'm going to go and click on edit animation. Maybe I'll change the FPS to 12, and I'll either smooth or turn off. And as you can see, this is the window for the animation editor. And if I add an animation, I can, rename it, and I'll maybe call it idle. And what I can do is click on Atlas, and it shows up this select an atlas. So I can click on here, and I'll click on the girl atlas, and I can change whether or not it's vertical or horizontal. Horizontal means I go this way, and vertical means I go downwards. This is just for certain types of atlases that go downwards. So I want it to go this way, so I'm not going to make it vertical. So I'll just click on Set Sheet. And if I click on Set Animation, see this one showed up, and I click here, you'll see it highlights the first row. Then I click over here, boom. And then I click on Confirm Animation, and boom, the idle animation of the girl is playing. I can click on idle animation, and I'll click on the walk animation. And I'll click on the atlas, and you can see it saved the atlas from last time, so I don't have to go back and search for it. And I can click on Set Atlas, and I can go and click this one all the way to this one and confirm it, and you see that it walks, which is very nice. And I can do the same thing for the jump animation. I'll just do this one last, and I can click this one all the way to this one, and boom, and now you see it has a jump animation. I'll change it to jump, and see how the animations are there. And if I click on maybe walk, and I click close this, no wait, before I actually do that, I'm going to teach you how to actually delete an animation. So I'll click on an atlas, and I'll just probably click this one and this one over here. And if you see, it has this animation, but suppose I want to delete it, I click on set delete, so I could delete the animation. And I kind of have a typo, supposed to just say delete, and I can say, do you want to delete this? And I'll say yes, and boom, it deletes it. So it deleted it, and now I can click on this one, and it shows this one. And if I want to supposedly reorder this animation, I click on animations, and you see how it reordered. The reorder thing comes up. I can move this around and maybe make this so jump can be on top, idle, and then walk. I click reorder animation, and boom, you see jumps on top, idle, and then walk, which is very nice. I close this. Now I'm going to go back to walk, and I'm going to actually scale this up, and you can see that the walk animation is over here, which is very cool. And one thing I'm going to do now is actually go to the physics body over here. You've been seeing it. I can add a color component actually just by clicking add over here. And then I'll just add this camera component. So the girl is now going to be a camera alongside of it, which is pretty interesting. So I can just delete that so the girl's not the camera. And, sorry, it seems to have a bug. Well, yeah, I'll just delete that. I'll delete the girl, and I don't really need the girl for now. I'll fix that bug later. But I'll add this, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to add component and click on physics body. And what I can do is I can go and click on, I will change it from dynamic, maybe to static, whatever I want, change the mass to the gravity scale, all of these interesting stuff. And I can click on add collider, and what this will do is give it a panel to add some colliders. So I'll probably add a square. If I can click and drag, and it adds a square collider. I can do the same for a circle collider, and then a polygon collider. And then here, it fixed the polygon colliders. And you can see on the right side, the inspector has changed. So it has options for snapping and for the properties. So for this one, it'll have a square box properties. It still has the snapping. Also for the circle properties, so it has the polygons, box, and circle properties, which is very cool. Also, I can turn on snapping. So if I go and click turn on snapping, and I click on the box, and I have snapping turned on, and boom, you see how now everything is snapping to the grid, which is very nice. It doesn't also have to be the grid. I can make it like sub of the grid, so I can make it every 4 times it has a grid. So I'll click this one, and as you can see, it gets to the 4th every 4 grid cells, the 4th of a grid cell, which is very cool. And one thing you'll see here, it has a bunch of stuff like density, resolution, sensor, group, a category, and a mask. Mask categories to know what category I wanted to. These are just test names I have for testing purposes. But like I can have this be background categories. That way it's a background physics object, so maybe only the player can interact with the background. Backgrounds don't interact with other backgrounds. Just like if you're in a platformer, I can click on the mask to know which mask it should be. I can probably, and the way to add a category is to click this icon over here, and you'll see all the categories, and I can maybe change this one to human, and you see it has capitalized everything, delete it, and you see the human is added, and also in the drop down I can pick on human. I can also, you see how this is green? Green means it accepts everything as the category mask, but if I click on this, it's now blue, so it's only this specific category it can interact with. So it supports masks and categories, which is very cool. And I can close this window, and boom, now the physics is part of it, and it works perfectly. And I can also turn off the grid, and yeah, I think that's all I have. I can add entities by clicking the add button. I can also like rearrange these entities, so I can have this entity inside of this, and you see it's rearranged. So I'll probably change this name to cat. I don't know, I don't really find good names. Maybe dog. Just drag in some images. I'll just turn magnifying glass. I don't even have a dog. And that's for the dog. I'll move the dog down here. And for the cat variable, which is I can just use the scarecrow and drop it here. And if I click on the cat, since it's the parent of a dog, I can move the cat, and then the dog will move along with it, which is cool. I can also search for an entity, so I can click cat and see cat. It now has cat. I search for cat, and that's very nice. And yeah, I think that's all I have for now. I want to work on tile maps, and I also want to work on having some settings. One of the stuff I want to do is undo and redo. And also, just before I leave, I did work on this just a few, like I think 2 days ago, and I click on files, and this is a new UI I made up myself. Well, it's not made up myself. I just copied. I just not copied. Well, like I imitated how actual drop downs work, and I just created it. And it's very nice that it works perfectly. So I can hover, and also works with just touch, because I want to support touch, so you don't need to have a touch. So most of these buttons don't work. If I click on the only one that works is reset view. So if I move this over here and I click on view, reset view, and you see it went back to just this normal view. So yeah, that's all I have for now. Just and if you're interested, yeah, just subscribe and have a good day. Yeah, thank you for watching.